Retrains are a fascinating aspect of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game that have been introduced gradually over time. They are essentially new versions of older cards with updated effects and new artwork that reimagine the original card. Some retrains are closely related to the original card, while others may bear only a passing resemblance. A few examples of that is Battle Ox with Enraged Battle Ox, Blue Eyes White Dragon with the Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, or even recently, as of the release of this video, Shadow Ghoul with Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. Retrains have been introduced for a variety of reasons. In some cases, the original card may have been outdated or underpowered due to changes in the game's mechanics, making it difficult for players to use it. So by retraining the card with new effects, the game's designer can give new life to the card and make it more relevant to the current gameplay. Another reason for introducing Retrain is to celebrate the legacy of the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise. Many retrains are based on iconic cards from the anime and the manga, allowing players to relive their favorite moments from the show. In some cases, the retrained card may even have a new effect that reflects the character or story behind the original card. Retrains can also be a way to introduce new archetypes or themes to the game. By reimagining older cards, the designers can create a new archetype and add to an existing one, providing players with new strategies and playstyles to explore. One important thing to note about retrains is that they are not always better than the original card. While some retrains may be more powerful or useful, others may have weaker effects or be less versatile. Although not all of them are competitively viable, they at the very least breathe some new life into that card or archetype of that card. An old useless card could always get a chance of getting retrained and actually being pretty decent. A good example of that is the Blackluster Soldier with the retrained version, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. Being a ritual monster, Blackluster Soldier did not see a lot of play back in the early days of the game, because ritual monsters were such a hassle to summon. You need a specific ritual spell card, the ritual monster in your hand, and monsters with levels equal or higher than the level of the ritual monsters. So in Blackluster Soldier's case, you needed the ritual spell card, Blackluster Ritual, and at the very least, monsters whose level equal 8, so let's say 2 level 4 monsters. A lot of resources were needed just to summon a 3000 attack beat stick that could easily die to a man-eater bug, which destroys a monster when flipped face up. Now the retrained version of the card, BLS Envoy of the Beginning, was a total game changer. It changed the monster from a ritual monster to an effect monster, and it became one of the most impactful cards in the game's history, alongside Chaos Emperor Dragon, Envoy of the End. To summon BLS, you need to banish a light and a dark monster from your graveyard, which is very easy to set up. Furthermore, it had two powerful effects, the first effect being you could banish one monster your opponent controlled, but you couldn't attack with the Blackluster Soldier, and the other card's effect was that when it destroyed a monster by battle, it could attack once more. Usually, this could win you the game, since it kept the original card's attack and defense, so the retrained version of the card was a 3000 attack and 2500 defense monster that could special summon itself just by banishing monsters from your graveyard. Obviously, with the power creep of the game, BLS Envoy of the Beginning isn't as good as it used to be, but it was still a big threat for a very long time. So much so that they banned the card, since it was too powerful. Blackluster Soldier still receives a bunch of retrains till this day, and will probably receive a bunch more in the future, since it is a very iconic card because it was used by Yugi in the original show. As I've mentioned before, one thing about retrains that are also appealing is the fact that it celebrates the Yu-Gi-Oh anime and manga with the card or effect they provide. For example, take Jinzo and Jinzo the Machine Menace. Jinzo is a very iconic card that negates all trap cards on the field or from being activated. That effect is actually slightly different from the anime and the manga, and that's where Jinzo the Machine Menace comes in. Its effect is being able to special summon itself if a trap card is in either player's graveyard or field. You can then tribute it to special summon one Jinzo from your hand or graveyard and apply this effect that resembles the anime effect a bit more. You can destroy all trap cards on the field, and if they are set, you'll reveal it and destroy the trap card. I think that's very appealing for a more casual player base whose main draw is the show, and it seems that they try to print out more and more cards that references the show a little bit more with the retrained versions of older cards, even if some of them are a little bit too wacky, kind of like the Ishizu cards. Everyone knows they're very broken. I personally love when they're able to recreate iconic scenes from the show throughout card effects. For example, remember when Yugi fused Mammoth Graveyard with Kaiba's Blue Eyes? With a retrained version of Mammoth Graveyard, they could potentially recreate this specific scene. The effect could be something like, you can discard one spell card to equip this card from your hand to an opponent's monster. It cannot attack or change battle position, and it loses 1200 attack during each of your opponent's turn. While obviously not the most powerful effect, it can at least make it close to how the show did it with how the game is actually played in real life, since everyone knows the early anime took a lot of liberties with the rules. In conclusions, retrains are a vital aspect of the Yu-Gi-Oh game that serves multiple purposes. They allow players to use old favorite cards in new ways, create new strategies, and breathe new life into older archetypes. They also add an aesthetic value to the game by introducing updated artwork and designs. Most importantly, they help keep the game fresh and exciting for players, maintaining the longevity of the game and the interest of its player base. As the game continues to evolve and grow, Retrains will undoubtedly continue to play an important role in its success. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel.